Welcome back to Sunday Vibes, one and all. It's me, Chris, and Doogie today to answer your questions. This episode of Sunday Vibes is brought to you by our friends at Now TV. You can stream on the go with a Sky Sports mobile month pass for just £5.99 for the whole month. Click the link in the description right now if you want to get hold of that. Ready to kick it off, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's go.
First question was sent in by Football Fan 12. He says, with Arsenal and Chelsea facing each other this weekend, big game, what are the negatives each club have to fix to improve themselves? Lots of problems at both Arsenal and Chelsea so far, particularly Arsenal this week, Doogie. What's happened there?
Yeah, it's been a really eventful week. Arsenal behind the scenes and on the pitch. Basically, obviously, Wenger's 22-year reign came to an end last year, and that was supposed to impose a new style, a more sort of coherent, working, a lot of people coming together, director of football, technical director, head of recruitment. Sven Mislintat was brought in November 2017 by Ivan Gazidis as the head of recruitment. Ivan Gazidis has subsequently gone to AC Milan, which is not good news for Arsenal, really, because he was the one who was supposed to oversee the post-Wenger era. He was the one that earmarked Emery as the man. I don't know whether he was first choice necessarily, but he was definitely high up on their shortlist. And since he's gone to AC Milan, there's basically been a new structure imposed, a new internal management structure. So Raul Sanelli has become the director of football, and managing director Vinay Venkatesham, sorry if I butchered that, has been given an increased role in the club. And basically Sven Mislintat wanted to be technical director of football, but it now doesn't look like that's going to happen. He seems to have issues with Raul Sanelli and Vinay, not even going to try that surname again, about the direction the club should go in transfer-wise. So basically he was brought in as head of recruitment, wanted absolute say on who should be brought in, and that's been slightly undermined. So it's almost like he's chief scout now. And he's got issues with Emery, who wants to bring in Denis Suarez, who wants to bring in Iva Banega. Mislintat prefers using his extensive contacts from his time in Germany. He's got great knowledge of players and doesn't think that these short-term loan options are what Arsenal need to do moving forward. I think he's also had a bit of the wool pulled over his eyes about Arsenal's finances. I'm not entirely sure about why they can only make loan moves this year. It might be something to do with their pretty bloated wage bill in certain areas. But it's not looking good, and that's off the pitch. So Mislintat's now been linked with Bayern Munich, which would be a great move for him personally from Arsenal to Bayern. But this is a massive period of change, and they're trying to bed in a new management. It doesn't look great, to be honest. And then on the pitch, they've obviously got Aaron Ramsey, who's leaving in the summer. Petr Cech's retiring, so they'll need a new goalkeeper. Mesut Ozil's situation rumbles on. Danny Welbeck's out of contract as well in the summer. So just when you wanted unity, when there's been a slight downtime in the last month in terms of Arsenal results as well, and this is when you needed to be unified, and it seems to be all slightly falling apart off the pitch, let alone on it. And the Ozil situation I find completely baffling. I don't know what you think about it, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before that I don't think there's any team in the world that could justify leaving Mesut Ozil out of a match day squad because of a tactical approach. I think he's, on his day, still one of the best number 10s in the world, creating 3.5 chances a game last season in the Premier League. Sort of only Fabregas rivals him in terms of chance creation. His numbers way down, as you'd expect, having only made 12 starts in the Premier League this time round. And yeah, his wages are becoming to look like a problem, because when a manager says we can only make loan deals in January, you think they're either gearing up for a massive summer, but if they're gearing up for a massive summer, surely Mislintat was a massive part of that. He was going to be able to execute his vision in the summer. That's not coming to fruition. It looks like he's going to leave for Bayern, like you said, who have been after him for a long, long time. He's very highly thought of in Bavaria. So it's just a bit of a storm, really, to the point now where I think fans were pretty unified in thinking that, okay, Aaron Ramsey is declining as a player, still a very solid player, still a good number 10, a good advanced midfielder on his day. But it's looking like every time he comes on the pitch, they need him more and more. It looks like Aaron Ramsey should now be one of the players to stay at the club. And Unai Emery in his defence said when he first arrived and offered Aaron Ramsey the 5-year deal that he wanted to build Arsenal around a player of his stature. Now, yeah, Ozil's not going to fit his playing style, but they're paying Ozil £300,000 a week, then something has got to give. It's sort of a mini kind of, I feel like echoes, bubblings of a Pogba versus Mourinho situation. Star player, fan favourite versus new manager who's trying to you know, paper the cracks of the old system with his playing ways. But so yeah, in terms of how to approach a January, this is probably not the best, is it? In terms of their numbers on the pitch, Chelsea versus Arsenal, it's two teams. It's really interesting that at this point of a season, there are 2 of the 3, or maybe even 4 of the top 5 aren't necessarily posting numbers that have sort of cemented their place in the top 4. So you have Liverpool, you have City, whose underlying numbers are far and away better than everyone else's. And then you sort of have the chasing pack, and no one is really staking a claim for third. Tottenham, best start to the season after what, 21 games, but they're actually outshot in 3 games this season. And interestingly, I read an article by James York from StatsBomb where he said over the course of, I think this was until late December, they were actually only taking 48% of the shots in a game. So Tottenham, for the first time in a long time, were being outshot, and they're also pressing far less, and they were letting other teams have possession. And I think this is widely viewed as Pochettino adapting his play to the personnel he has at his disposal. Of course, some big injuries. Son disappeared for a little while. He was great in the press, wasn't he? Moussa Dembele gets injured. Victor Wanyama gets injured. Eric Dyer does, so on and so forth. But they're outshot by Southampton and Leicester in games this season. Harry Kane is only taking 3.5 shots this season and is, of course, out for 5 to 6 weeks. Who knows? He might make a miraculous recovery like he normally does. And Son's going to the Asian Games for 5 match weeks. So they're a shot-shy Tottenham side who are losing their lead attackers. Now that isn't going to bode well on the run-in for the season, is it? But just to go back to Arsenal and Chelsea, massive fan of how they started. I thought, God, Sarri, he's still with Sarri ball after 5 games.
What's happened since then?
And now their underlying numbers are the same as Conte's from last season. So mildly better defensively, mildly better in an attacking sense. And Sarri's still clearly not operating with his desired personnel, is he? No. Which will lead us to the Morata and Higuaín debate, which I'll ask you about, because Morata looks like he's about to join Atletico Madrid. Higuaín looks like he's about to come in on loan, which is weird. Surely at Juve's expense as well, because they've got a guaranteed, what, 32 at the end of his £16 million loan fee from AC if there's an obligation to buy. Not sure about that. But yeah, Chelsea producing a lot of shots, but without a number 9 or a number 9 who wants to play there. They're not high quality shots. The 9th best chances in the league. And Eden Hazard, without him, what is it, 10 goals, 10 assists, or something around that number, they'd be screwed, wouldn't they? Because Giroud, 1 goal, 4 assists, and I think he's their 2nd best creator as well. It's a bit of a storm. They can't, I think they've drawn 2 and lost 1 since beating Manchester City, which is when it looked like, oh, a mini revival was on the cards from their sort of underwhelming results. But have only only won 6 of those games, I think at least 6, 5 or 6, by a 1-goal margin as well. Narrow victories over Newcastle, Bournemouth, Watford, like 1-0s, 2-1s. Lost to Leicester as well, didn't they? 1-0. So it's sort of a side that is still dominating possession, still kind of working it up the pitch reasonably well. Jorginho, you know, people are maligning him for being this sideways merchant. He's not. His deep line numbers, his deep progression is still very, very good. But then just taking low quality chances, I think by virtue of just not having this focus up front. I'll throw Arsenal out to you guys, but first of all, what do you think to Higuaín coming in? Would you take him over Morata? I think their numbers are very similar for the season.
The numbers are very similar. I think Higuaín is coming up towards 4 shots per 90, 3.9 like that, something like that region. Morata more around the 3 mark, 3.3. But equally, Higuaín, it's not like he's been killing it at Milan. If this was Higuaín who'd banged 15 and 20 and was flying for Milan, I'd be thinking, you know what, get him in for 6 months for Chelsea. He can't be worse than Morata. He's going to swing him on the up, and then they'll sign a striker for the long term in the summer. But this is a Morata who's been struggling somewhat at Milan. I think he's got 8 in 20.
Higuaín,
Sorry, Higuaín struggling somewhat at Milan. 8 in 20. He's not been flying there. I don't think they're too irked to be losing him, which is probably a sign that the transfer might not hit the ground in the same way Chelsea fans think he might. I mean, it's fine, isn't it? It's not going to rip the world up. I don't think any Chelsea fan going into this season thought they would do anything other than a top 4 finish. I think if you'd have said to a Chelsea fan before the season started, do you think you're going to win the league under Maurizio Sarri in his first season playing Sarri ball? They would have all gone, no way. It's going to take a long time for us to adapt to this new system, this new style. Sarri's going to need to put a bit more of an imprint on the team than he's been able to in just this short period of a summer window, post-World Cup as well. So I think if they can finish top 4 and Higuaín helps them to do that, it's a fine move. My concerns come in letting Alvaro Morata join Atletico Madrid on, I believe, an initial loan with an option of a permanent around £36 million, which means it's a £20 million loss straight off the bat on Alvaro Morata, who I think we all thought would be better, but he hasn't been. So I think we can all agree he's probably got to move on from Chelsea now. He's had his time here, it's not worked out.
And it's just
cut your losses while you can.
Will he get better in a Sarri system? Because he's very, very good in the air and he loves service from out wide, and it's just not what Sarri's football is necessarily about.
And I'm sure people at home will be going, well, you know, Higuaín's played under Sarri before at Napoli, and he obviously had a great reputation at Napoli under Higuaín, scored massive volumes of goals. But this was a Higuaín that was 28, 29, playing not quite in his prime years, but having a clear renaissance post Real Madrid under Maurizio Sarri. He's now 31. He's struggled for game time somewhat. And I just think it's a little bit of a risk. I'm sure Chelsea are going to finish top 4 and the fans will be fine. As long as there's no obligation to buy at 30 million plus on a 31-year-old, it's a fine move.
Yeah. I think it's odd that they've got another option to extend the loan by 12 months.
Yeah, they do,
You're like being kidnapped, Doogie, by aliens.
You're getting the light. You're getting the light.
Burned.
It's just
my
crossing
retina
over,
just,
you know, the London
sky. We're going to have any eyes by the end of this.
Yeah, so another 12 months on loan, which is, again, puzzling unless there's a hefty loan fee there for Chelsea to pay so Juventus can recoup the money that AC Milan were going to promise them. There's questions as to whether this might start a bit of a transfer merry-go-round. So Piontek from Genoa has been linked with AC Milan subsequently as Higuaín's replacement. This is a young, hungry striker. What was it, 13 and 18 at the start of this campaign?
But he's been running seriously hard.
4.1 shots per night. He's sort of sustained those numbers, which suggests that he's going to at least hit 20 in the league, I'd imagine, which is pretty impressive given that Genoa were absolutely starved for goals last campaign.
I did see a radar yesterday though that matched Piatek up against Luka Jovic. And
but Luka Jovic is, I think,
he's flying.
I think
he's 0.7 expected goals a game, Luka Jovic on that. But equally, I looked at Piatek's and it was like 0.24.
Yeah. He's playing with Sebastian Haller as well, and Sebastian Haller's playing exceptionally. So Eintracht Frankfurt. So the pair of them are kind of flying together, enabling one another to sustain those numbers. Whereas Piontek or Piatek, however you want to pronounce it, is a one-man band at Genoa. But what I would say is that they have a young, kind of hungry striker who gets good opportunities already in Cutrone. So I don't know why they wouldn't put more faith in him. They were sort of playing. Well, AC Milan looked at their best when they were playing Cutrone and Higuaín in the 2. What I saw at the start of the season.
They'll definitely need more backup though, because they're looking quite short of goals. I think it's only Suso and Higuaín who have scored something more like 4 league goals.
More than 3 league goals. They're the only 2 that score more than 3 league goals.
I'd also temper the worry about Higuaín and his age with that this is not the most creative Milan side either. I think only 2 players, Suso and Calhanoglu, have provided more than 2 assists. And I'd say this is relatively, except for if it's an obligation to buy, except for if there's a hefty fee in this loan deal, I'd say it's relatively low risk. In my opinion, it can't really get much worse in terms of Chelsea strikers. I mean, Giroud, I think is a great player, but he's never been a goal scorer naturally. And Morata hasn't scored a league goal since something like the 14th of November against Palace. No Chelsea striker has scored a league goal in 9 games. I know they played Hazard as a false 9 for a lot of that. But that's not healthy. And with Hazard only having 18 months left on his contract, you play Hazard where he wants to play, which is not as a false 9.
Yeah.
So bring in someone for 6 months, go big for someone in the summer.
But who do they get? That then does put a lot of pressure on that summer window.
And it also ranks up the price of whoever they're going to get by 100%. At least 15, 20 mil.
They've got very little in the way to show for striking options right now. Clearly, Michy Batshuayi is not in favour at the club. He's gone through now 2 managers, hasn't he? Neither has liked him. He's gone to Valencia, hasn't worked there, come back. He's now going to Monaco, seemingly. He's not going to be an option. Morata's gone now. Giroud's 32, is he? 31, 32?
Yeah, 32.
Higuain's on loan. So you're looking at that Chelsea side who might well lose Hazard in the summer. It is a massive upheaval. If they do lose Callum Hudson-Odoi in this window as well, which you're presuming won't happen now that Alvaro Morata's gone, they are going to have to spend some seriously big bucks in the summer.
With Pedro and Willian over 30 as well.
Yeah, and I look at that team and I think it needs a lot of surgery going forward, especially if Hazard goes. Yeah. There's a full frontline rebuild needed, and obviously Pulisic goes some way to caveat that. But the striking option is a difficult one. Sarri likes strikers to play in a particular way. Dries Mertens obviously was basically playing as an out-and-out dream 9 for Sarri, and he's almost irreplaceable in Sarri's system. It seems to me, anyway. I don't know who they go and get.
Yeah,
it's tricky. He bought in Arkadiusz Milik as well, didn't he? So I think he feels like he can operate with a big striker. Dries Mertens just seemed so serendipitous that the right man, right time, and it just sort of clicked in that system, didn't it? But it would be interesting to see. Should Hazard leave, or should they accept Hazard is leaving and get a big fee from a desperate Real Madrid? Then if they went out and did get Insigne, or he did go looking for some more of his old guard.
He likes to shop where he's been, doesn't he? He likes to shop what he knows.
He likes a consistent 11. And I mean, Kovacic is just going back on loan as well, so it's not just their forward line they have to worry about. They need a goal-scoring threat from the centre of midfield, but. And this is where maybe we're hypercritical when it comes to Chelsea's progress at the moment in this current season. His kind of system is helping paper over the personnel cracks. Although, like we said, they are in desperate need of a number 9. Still getting good numbers from Pedro at the start of this campaign. Willian is proving more and more important as the season's going on. Yeah, scored the winner against Newcastle, was it? But I digress.
But it's still boring
I think this is the best business conducted out of all this. If Atletico Madrid can get Alvaro Morata firing again for £36 million, that is an absolute steal, because I think the only player who's contributed more than 3 goals at that club at the moment is Griezmann, and the next one is deep line playmaker Thomas Partey, isn't it?
Yeah.
So. And they will provide him with a direct style of service, because Diego Costa looks like he's kind of ran out of cartilage, doesn't he? So.
Yeah, he's had so many injury issues. But I think this is also a worry for Sarri as well. I know when he came in the summer, he was like, I'm a coach, I'm a tactician, I'm not that bothered, I'll leave the transfers up to Chelsea. But he's made so many hints in the last 3 months that he doesn't have the players he wants, and you really want to keep Sarri at Chelsea, and you want to keep him happy as possible. So if I'm the Chelsea board, I'm thinking, things could get a bit awkward, which always inevitably does at Chelsea, because the manager has a lack of control. And
although I did read today that Chelsea aren't, like, Chelsea's hierarchy and board don't back this move. Like they've put their necks on the line for Sarri in a big way. Like
that's a good
the
point.
Actual chief scouts and stuff aren't happy with this move going through.
I imagine that's probably why it's so weird, because it's. If it's a 6-month loan, great. It's a low risk for Chelsea, and they see out the season with someone more reliable goal scorer, like you boys have both said. But I think you touched on it as well, if there is these intermittent fees, and they are big fees, then you're thinking this short-termism isn't good for a Chelsea side that are ageing in their front line as it is, and they're rejecting the youth.
Yeah. It is a big game though on the weekend, Chelsea-Arsenal, so should we get some predictions, how we think it's going to go eventually?
I still think, despite all those caveats, I still think this is a Chelsea win. I don't think Arsenal have been that impressive this month. They've won 3 in 9 games in all competitions since mid-December, but that is with an FA Cup.
Where is it? At the Emirates?
I think it's at the Emirates, yeah. And Hazard's had a great recent record against Arsenal as well. I still back him against Socrates, Koscielny and Mustafi in the back 3. I don't think it's going to be necessarily the most interesting game, but I'd go 2-1 Chelsea is what I'm thinking.
I mean, Arsenal at the start of the season, they were riding their luck, weren't they? And they were getting the results because of their overperforming attack. But now they're taking around 12.5 shots a game. So that's dropped somewhat, the thing they were heavily reliant on. And that might be because, Mesut Ozil's not creating chances, Aaron Ramsey's not starting games. It's looking a little bit more defensive in there, isn't it? A little bit more rigid with Guendouzi and Xhaka, which I don't really like as a combination. I think, taking 12.5 shots a game, which is 9th best after Wolves. They're also conceding a hell of a lot, same as Cardiff. So all the underlying numbers would point to a Chelsea victory, and I do feel like Chelsea could be fairly. At the start of the season, it was a different kettle of fish, wasn't it? I feel like Chelsea probably lucky to get all 3 points there. Both teams creating high quality chances in the game. And Mkhitaryan, remember him missing an absolute sitter.
Shock.
And Aubameyang. There's some bad misses, isn't there?
But they've shored up defensively since then. So I think I'm going to go for a fairly comfortable 2-0 victory to Chelsea.
I think it might be a little bit tighter than that. The last couple of games I've watched of Chelsea, they've been so average.
Going
in
forward,
every aspect, even
the game. You're thinking the game against Tottenham
and against Newcastle. I think it was against Newcastle. I watched like 60 minutes of it, and I was just like, "This is a turgid watch."
Yeah,
it's just sideways passing over and over, and then one ball splitting pass, and then a shot from range from Hazard. It's like,
but they're struggling against the deep lying blocks, aren't they? Because they aren't producing the high quality chances.
I'm gonna go. I think I'll go 1-1 in this game. I think a draw. It smells of a draw. Chelsea aren't on the best form. I know that there's a lot of pressure on Hazard going forward, and Unai Emery. I actually back Unai Emery tactically to be able to identify that Eden Hazard is the real threat.
They put Torreira on, and that could be quite interesting. Actually.
I think Eden Hazard is going to turn Shkodran Mustafi into dust.
Could well do.
I think he's going to disappear into the ether.
Oh, your old mate from Personal Mastermind.
Yeah, lovely bloke, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice,
but
got that
having a mess of a
dry German sense of humour.
Not Mislintat's best move, let's put it that way.
Wearing pink tracksuits when we met him as well, which I didn't expect him to have that sort of flair in his
locker.
Right. But yeah, Arsenal have looked a lot better with a back three, haven't they? With the wing back, Sai Kolasinac has been, he was playing out of his skin at the start of this season, but then they lined up against West Ham with that formation, and I thought West Ham were very deserving of their victory. And actually, behind the front three, we said there's some winners and losers.
Yeah.
I was looking at the rest of Arsenal's starting 11 and thinking, this isn't that far away ability-wise from West Ham's. And Nasri might still be able to get a game in this Arsenal side. A fit Nasri, who say he can replicate the same form as he did under George Sampaoli at Sevilla, is probably still going to be a very good player. I just think Arsenal season is on a knife edge, whereas Chelsea need to make some do some fine tuning, don't they?
Although they're only 6 points ahead of United and Arsenal, and I think with United's recent run, that is not a confident gap at this stage. I think it's going to be a massive game. I think it's going to be a massive summer for both teams. And off the pitch at Arsenal, who knows what will be the state by the end of January. So this is going to be intriguing.
Yeah, it's going to be a great watch. But who do you think is going to win the big game, Chelsea or Arsenal? You can vote up in the poll there to decide. Moving on now then to quick fire questions. The first was sent in by St Mirren Shiny, a regular contributor. If you want to be a regular contributor, get at us on Twitter and leave your comments below as well. All of the questions count. He says, where would you rank Cech amongst the all-time great Premier League goalkeepers? Should his faltering form over the last few seasons count against him? Doogie?
Yes, I think it probably should, but I don't think you can knock his record or his longevity. I mean, he's still got the most Premier League clean sheets. I would actually rank him 4th, I think. I'd go...
Very specific there.
Very specific.
Yeah,
think thought about this.
I'd go Schmeichel, De Gea, Van der Sar, and then Cech.
You got De Gea in there as the second best keeper of all time in the Premier League.
Whoa, 100%. I don't think you've seen talent like it, except for Schmeichel. I think he's a better keeper than Van der Sar. The only thing that counts against him is the lack of trophies in comparison to Van der Sar.
Yeah, he's had the best season of a Premier League keeper, hasn't he? Last season, probably. David De Gea.
Definitely.
How long has he been Manchester United's '1 now?
Since
5, 6 years?
No, longer than that.
7 years, maybe?
7, 8.
I mean, 8 years in the Premier League is probably enough to warrant being in the top 5.
Yeah, but the first two, very dodgy.
Particularly that first 6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, credit to United for holding with him for those 6
have
months.
him pretty.
A lot of people wouldn't.
I would personally have Cech at number 2.
Okay.
I would also have Peter Schmeichel ahead of him. I'd have Schmeichel, Cech, then I'd have Van der Sar, and then I'd have De Gea. I think if De Gea stays at Manchester United into his 30s, he will be the greatest Premier League goalkeeper of all time. He's still quite young for a keeper. I think, what is he, 27?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that for a goalkeeper, he might still have 7 years at the top of his game. So I'll have De Gea 4 for now, but with the definite possibility of becoming 1.
I'm going to give you my top 5 that I used to sign for free on Football Manager for Celtic, all right?
Brilliant.
Okay, through the ages as well. So we'll go for the pantheons of greats, including Nigel Martin.
Okay, not always up there for me, but good.
Always a good free
pretty
transfer.
reliable.
Yeah. David James.
Okay, great choice of hairstyle.
Yeah, I think Fabianski probably bringing up 3rd when he was leaving Swansea on a free. My later saves with signing for Celtic.
Fabulous season, and that just tells you how bad Arsenal's policy of transfers is at the moment, to let Fabianski and Szczesny go.
Szczesny
the one more at Juve, and Fabianski arguably goalkeeper of the season, or top 3 this year.
Yeah.
Graham Stack, you need a 2nd or 3rd choice goalkeeper. He never lets you down. All right, and then first Carlo Cudicini, the man who broke both wrists coming off a motorbike. What's a goalkeeper doing riding a motorbike? What a maverick. Carlo Cudicini.
The only person that I think would be in the discussion that we probably haven't mentioned, actually no, 2. I'd say David Seaman could also be in the discussion, and Pepe Reina could be in the discussion.
David Seaman, 100%. The best save belongs to him in the Premier League era.
Nah, it was FA Cup, that was.
Oh,
sorry, mate.
good
Sorry to
knowledge
disappoint you.
from
FA Cup against Sheffield United.
Sharp.
But he is potentially up there still. The next one, sent in by Blaugrana, 2,400. He says, who is the most promising central midfield talent? Brackets, Rabiot, De Jong, Arthur, Neves, question mark.
Oh, God. I mentioned this in Transfer Review, didn't I? But have you seen the graph that I retweeted from Ray Hamill?
What was about
no relation.
Arthur.
Ray Hamill.
But no, it's all the midfielders. It had 2 metrics. It was like, it was deep progressions, and then I think it was chance creation. And Adrien Rabiot, you know that little spot on the graph that's normally reserved for Messi?
Yeah.
It's just like top right, and it's just like freak territory.
Yeah.
That's where Adrien Rabiot was.
Yeah.
He's gonna bang at Barca.
Yeah, if he wasn't such a house.
What do you mean?
And his mum wasn't such an
Or is
woman.
he so good? Or is he so good because he's a house?
Maybe, but it does.
Maybe a mum. You know, maybe she has to be a bit of a battle axe in a man's world, Joe.
Maybe so, but equally, I feel like his reputation is pretty much one of the worst in world football at the moment.
I don't know. I mean, Barcelona, they clearly don't care about that, do they? They still signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic. His reputation definitely precedes him.
And Luis Suarez.
And you know, and had Eto'o in their ranks, who's always been a bit of a bit cavalier. What was the question?
It was the most promising central midfield. We got to talk about De Jong here, probably.
I was about to say, yeah.
De Jong definitely up there. Pretty much a jack of all trades. Can play at centre back as well, which is a definite positive. Looks like he is going to join PSG though. Seems to have rejected Barcelona now for a lot of money, maybe £70 million, which is obscene for a person who's had 6 months.
Do you know what else is obscene?
Top level football.
The volume coming out of his neck.
Absolutely.
I could tell that was doing his head in.
Absolutely, the loudest thing he could have possibly put in his mouth.
Scratching.
I mean, just don't eat a pork scratching on camera.
I can't help it. They're delicious.
It's unbelievable.
Masticating.
Shout out the real pork crackling
so
company.
loud. The internal mic on the camera just picked that one up, let alone your one there. But yeah, De Jong was.
It's fucking
talking about my throat. It's seriously powerful.
But yeah, De Jong's going to be a madness at PSG. He'll be insane wherever he goes. But I think at PSG he's just going to become a powerhouse in that sense.
Although they've been heavily linked with Julian Weigl, so
it would very, very much surprise me for them to bring in Weigl
recently. Yeah.
If you get the choice between the two,
I think they're looking to bring in De Jong and let Rabiot go. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting.
But also shout out to the other 2 people Blaugrana mentioned. I think Arthur's been exceptional at Barcelona this year. For a 21-year-old, he's fitted seamlessly in. And Ruben Neves has had a great year in the Premier League as well.
Although £100 million price tag.
Yeah, he won't move for that. I mean, that's way overpriced. But I think he's one of the best long-range ball strikers in the Premier League, along with De Bruyne and Eriksen. I think
that is like one of my top 3 metrics as well. Though. Look, for someone that can
ping it into the top.
You know, one of those people that can just keep the ball 3 inches off the ground the whole way. That's 30
looks like a missile shot out of a submarine. Midfielders.
Go on, midfielders.
Go on, I've got to submit one. I think a really interesting midfielder to observe this season has been Giovanni Lo Celso's been on loan at Real Betis from PSG, so they've played him in a more advanced role. He kind of struggled a little bit as a deep line playmaker in France and in the national setup at the World Cup for Argentina, but he has been their most influential player going forward, and to be entrusted with that responsibility, filling someone like Ruiz's shoes by a man like Quique Setien, I think his career trajectory after this very productive loan is going to continue to go up and up. I really like that Arthur's Bang, man, because I have such an affinity towards Brazilian football. Hopefully Lucas Paqueta can bang at AC Milan as well. And we're actually doing this, reminded me of the podcast we're doing the best youth setups in world football, and I've done Santos this week, and you boys have covered. We've gone round the map, haven't we? You're doing Belgium.
I'm doing Anderlecht,
and I'm doing Sporting. So go and download it.
So if you've not downloaded that, or if you come to this first, then look out for that going live later.
Next quick fire from Shreyas Verma 8. He says, has Lucas Digne been the second best left back in the league? Brackets, Robertson the first. I would totally agree with that hypothesis.
It's difficult to argue with it, definitely. I think he's been better than, I'm trying to think around the league. He's been better than Digne. He's been better than Davies, Rose, he's been better than Luke Shaw, even though Luke Shaw I think has had a really solid year. I'm trying to think, he's been better than Marcus Alonso.
I actually think he's arguably been the signing of the summer, Lucas Digne. Yeah. I think he was look, he didn't have the best time at Barcelona, but not everybody has the best time at Barcelona. He's not the first, and he won't be the last player. But his good quality goes down.
No way he was going to replace
Jordi Alba.
Yeah. Also, I think at Roma, he didn't hit the heights at Roma. He's hit at Everton this season. PSG certainly didn't. Everton, he's arguably playing the best football he's played in his entire career. And it's he's been fantastic over dead balls. He flies forward on that left-hand side like he's not got a care in the world. And I think it's testament that Leighton Baines hasn't had a sniff.
Yeah. Baines is aging out now, isn't he? But I suppose that he feels like a little bit kind of what Marcos Alonso is to Chelsea at Everton. Brilliant going forward, but I haven't really analysed his actual defending.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, his delivery and his set pieces have been awesome. He said he used to be like front of the queue to take them at Barcelona, but obviously no taking it off Messi, is there?
Exactly.
So it's not just happened, he's always been good at dead balls.
Yeah, true. All right, personal questions time then. The first one from Val, CPFC. What are your favourite TV shows?
Ooh. Hamill, you're a big
that we're watching right now? Is this we're watching right now?
How much time have you boys got?
Right, let's do right now, because we're going to be going into Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Right now, what TV show are you watching that you enjoy?
No Wire, no Sopranos, which are easily, no Peaky Blinders, which are kind of easily the best for me, and a pantheon of greats. Right now, I'm watching Vikings. Didn't think I'd enjoy it. It's a bit like Sons of Anarchy, but with axes and loincloths. Big fan of a loincloth. So that's just kind of like red-blooded, male viewing, like a lot of, pillaging and murdering. But actually, well acted by a crew where there's no big name, no household name. So that was quite interesting finding some new actors in that regard. And Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Mate, I never really gave it a chance, but really funny. She's class, Amy Poehler.
Dukes?
She's great. I'm actually in a bit of a TV slump at the moment. I don't have anything regular on the go. Since Killing Eve finished, since Bodyguard finished, I'm looking for something. So if you guys
exclusively watch things on iPlayer?
I do. I love the BBC, yeah. Proper BBC bloke. But yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions for what I should watch, but I'm actually getting really excited. It's 3 months. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but Game of Thrones is coming back, and I live and breathe
I'll
it.
tell you a show I think you would enjoy. SAS Who Dares Wins.
I've heard you guys talk about it in the office, actually.
I think SAS Who Dares Wins will be right up your street.
Really?
SAS, basically,
is that what you're on at the moment?
Basically, they put regular people. They put regular people through SAS training, and this year is the first year that the MOD has accepted women at all levels of the military service, including special forces. So they've got women in there doing it. That's a really good watch.
The woman who took on the man in boxing.
Yeah, and she got
the
beat.
Gona. Jesus, yeah, but still, fair play.
Yeah, so SAS Who Dares Wins a wicked watch.
He was going for it.
He had to,
That is, because they can't have anybody who's physically or mentally less strong. So it's just like, everybody's just a human. You've got to hit this ridiculous level, and if we're going to put you two together in a boxing ring,
God, that
and
guy
this bloke
must have
just
felt guilty.
like,
Yeah,
he did
I
feel
know.
really good.
He did. He was like hanging his head in shame.
Also, at the moment, watching QB1 Beyond the Lights on Netflix.
You like an American
I
football
love watching
documentary,
American
don't you?
football documentaries, and this is one of the better ones actually on Netflix at the moment, following high school quarterbacks through the final year of their high school career before they go to college. Well worth the watch. So yes, SAS and QB1 from FM.
Good suggestions.
I Am Choppy has the final question of the day. Says, favourite music artist growing up that you cringe about now?
I don't know about cringing about him, but Busted, mate.
Oh,
Busted.
yes.
3 AM I thought was like the ultimate breakup tune. I was just like,
That's a great shout.
I've been
Been to the year 3000.
One of my least favourite tracks. I feel like they weren't taking themselves seriously then. But who else? Busted. It's of that era. Blue. All Rise. I bought Blue. Had it on my Sony Walkman. A lot of our fans will not know what they are. Literally carrying around a small CD player. And Blue, and I think the first 2 albums I bought were Eminem, Curtain Call, and Blue. So quite a contrast there. Yeah. With my own hard-earned cash.
First single I got was Who Let the Dogs Out.
Really?
By the,
Does
I
not
think
surprise
by the
me.
Yaya Boys.
Does not surprise me.
By the Yaya Boys.
Imagine him with his top just like round the living room. Like, dogs out.
With that little headpiece he wore in that video, yeah.
No, for me probably the Spice Girls.
Fair.
Yeah.
I was actually quite dark as a 5-year-old. The first CD I ever bought was from a band called the Rasmus, who were like this black. They weren't black. They had these black emo, hair.
Was that Du Hast? No.
It was very dark music, but I got right into that, and then I had a poster of Avril Lavigne on my wall as well, which actually only went down when I was about 13. So I was really dark back then.
Bit of a minx, wasn't she?
Yeah. But check out the Rasmus.
Oh, Evanescence as well. That was quite a quite grungy tune. I proper
Green
love
Day.
that.
Oh,
Green
I
Day.
loved Green Day as well.
Green Day,
yeah.
definitely.
And the Red Hot
Definitely
Chili
cringe
Peppers
now,
as well. I
innit?
used to love them.
Oh, good question. That very good question.
Yeah. Who is your cringe band that you grew up watching? Let us know in the comments below.
Hashtag it as well. Cringe band.
So that's it for this episode of Sunday Vibes. Please don't forget to click the link in the description below if you want to get your Sky Sports Mobile Month Pass, thanks to our friends at Now TV for just £5.99. Boys, what else is happening on the Football Daily Network this weekend?
We've already pushed to it, but go download the podcast, go over to Eurofootball Daily, watch Kieran's comment show, go over to FDFC. We were Creator of the Week this week, so it's been a great week for FDFC. Go download go watch even all the stuff on there. Lots of good stuff coming out.
Oh, do I have anything left to say after that?
Yeah.
Covered it all, didn't you, mate? The Super Copper. The first one between me and McCubbin on Stat Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Most of you probably know how that went.
Bye.